Hi.
We start out with Justin Proper's pretty face. Look at that.
Hey, not bad.
Well, the man was jamming out. He was jamming out. I thought we'd catch him, but we didn't.
Oh no. Not that easily.
I was hoping. All right. How is everybody doing tonight? This is the Wednesday edition of The Dump. We call it the Humpty Dump. My name is Scott, and this is Sporking News Podcast, and we have a great guest tonight. We got a great panel. We got some good articles, things that piss us off, things that we're happy about. You never know. First, let me introduce our guest, though, is the great Justin Proper. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you, Scott? How's everybody here? How's everyone in the chat? How you all doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Everybody else?
Excellent.
Justin, is this the first time you've been on one of my streams?
Yes.
Wow.
Actually, it has. So thank you. Thank you for having me on.
That's ridiculous, though. I'm sorry I never had you on before that.
Hey, you know what? You're making up for your past mistakes, so that's
definitely
all that matters.
Well, I appreciate it.
What we do going forward.
Yeah. Next to Justin, we have the artist of the fourth wave, Michail.
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you all for stopping by. Welcome back to the Wednesday edition of the Humpty Dump, where we're here to make you laugh, make you cry, make you happy, make you sad, and enjoy. But still enjoy the stream with us. So think of it as a prelude to This Week in BS. The Wednesday.
Hey, that's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, I don't mind being an opening act to Justin, so that's cool.
Oh no, it's just the program that's on the day before. It's kind of the same time slot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's perfect. I love your show. So that's a good one.
I like. Well, we'll see how I like this.
It's like an audition on my own stream. Go fuck yourself. Jayne Theory is up next.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are you tonight, Jayne?
Fantastic. Happy to be here. Glad I could make it. My internet.
Yeah, happy to have you here. It's been a while, so
yeah.
It's weird on my channel not having you on. So thank you for being here.
Oh, happy to be here.
And somebody that I won't even say it. Culture Casino's in the house.
Cool.
The hair. Look at that. That's America.
America. That's right. Hi, guys. Welcome. This should be a lot of fun. And you never know exactly how successful to be because we are on Scott's channel. So stick with me. It'll be all right.
Yes. And the company Culture told me to go through to get my computer. Now has no date on when I'm going to get it. It was supposed to be here Friday. But you know what?
Dang.
I wasn't going to bring that up until you hurt my feelings just now. No, it's fine. It's COVID.
Oof.
Let's blame the vid. The vid.
I mean, to be honest, you are getting an amazing machine. You know.
Yes, I am. I'm very excited about that, and I'm a little nervous about the switch over to this cable internet, but we'll see how this goes.
All right. Well, so far it doesn't suck a lot.
Yeah, not too bad. And next up, we have the People's Champ, E-Tep, the Fandom Menace People's Champ.
It is I, it is he, it is me, PDDE-Tep. We're cooing in the place to be reviews tonight on the Humpty Dump, right here with all of yous, even those Orthodox Jews. L'chaim, my people, pillar to post, coast to coast, the man with the most, not Space Ghost. That's right, PDD right here. You, me, everybody, welcome. Thank you for having me, brother.
Is it the same every time, or do you change it up a little bit?
I change it up a little bit here and there.
A little bit.
I added a few little tricks in there tonight. That's all right.
Yeah,
Few tricks and treats, you know.
You got to come up with an intro for Scott now. You got to come up with an intro for like everybody on your team.
I wrote intros for everybody on my buddy's show on a Friday night. Like I did themed introductions for everybody. So I'll write one for Scotty. Absolutely. I'll have one for him next week. I'll have one for him next week.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. All right. Let's say hi to some of the people in the chat. We have the Time Prophets. Yes, you were first. You were definitely first time prophet. And one of my members, Tina Bojan, she says, good evening, friends. Thank you, Tina. Lasso of Truth, who's become a regular, and I love it. How are you doing? Jayne saying, hey, guys. She's multitasking. You know, also Michail multitasking with everybody, dropping everybody's links like always. So thank you, sir. Let's see who else. We have another member, Shane G, one of our newer members. Thank you, Shane. And I'll keep scrolling because this is so slow. Who else do we got? We got Runner. Runner, stop yelling at Runner, people. Leave him alone. He's a good kid.
Has he apologized yet?
Has he apologized? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, does he have to apologize?
Yeah, he was the one who was supposed to.
Wait,
I don't even know
what did
why
Runner
people
do?
Someone tell me. Yeah, tell us.
Because he's like our little brother who's annoying,
and because
and we just make fun of him.
And because he spoke out when Ords was reading a $50 super chat when everybody was telling him to shut up. So he still owes us an apology for that. Yeah.
He owes Ords a $50 super chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I say Runner, hold out, bro. Hold out. Ords fell asleep on my stream once. You can hold out. I don't mind. Bone in the house. How are you doing, Bone? We have Wookiee Supremacy. Always love seeing an old school Wookiee in the chat. The Great Culture Casino for $1.49 Doomacorn. Machini, that's your cue. All right. I mean, you started doing that. Now we have to do it. People talk about it.
Terrifying.
It is terrifying every time. Parrot Head with his homage to Stephen Walton. It is a poop emoji and coffee. We have the madman himself, Mad Mardigan, saying, "Hey, yeah, look at him. Hey, look, it's Justin Proper.
Hi, I'm here. Yeah. Hi, guys.
Hey, guys. If I missed anybody, let's see. Who knew? Who knew is here? Another great channel member. Thank you, Who Knew, and Shane Nolan in the house. And oh God, he's here. Toxic Man Flu is here. God,
oh,
I hate this damn computer. Everything jumps on me. I can't hear Nina. Yes, you can't. She's invisible. And Brutal Morningwood. All right, let's get back to the show. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. Remember, tip your waiters. Okay, so our first article of the night. Let's bring that up right now. We're going to be talking about a little, some interesting stuff. A little Denzel Washington. I have a feeling Denzel's at that age where he don't give a crap what anybody thinks. So
never did.
No, he don't care.
No, he doesn't. But you know what? In the past few years, he's gotten even more vocal, and I don't know if it's because of the climate and he feels like he needs to. But he's always talked back to reporters and stuff, but he's really telling his political views out there, or at least it's moral views. I don't know. What do you guys think before we read it? What's the title? I can't even see it.
Denzel Washington declares his support for the police and American soldiers, showing his disgust for those who disparage them.
Disparage.
Anybody want to
disparage? I mean,
say what they think?
Hey, Tommy.
Disparage. Yeah.
What's going on,
Tom?
people?
Hey, Tommy.
How are you doing?
Hey, I'll tell you what, man.
Right.
I think it's really nice that somebody like Denzel Washington is actually going out there and speaking out on this matter, because more people need to. I mean, it really is a shame that some of the things that these people say about not only the soldiers, but the damn police force. And when they want them, when they need them, they cry out for them.
Yep.
But in the times when they don't need them, they want to talk shit about them. I mean, it's so hypocritical.
Was that a shooting in? I believe was the Vegas shooting or the shooting in Dallas, where there was, I believe it was a protest going on, and the protesters were protesting the police, but then once the shooting started, they were hiding behind the cops. And
yes,
it's like Dallas.
I think it was Dallas.
Were they protesting the police, or were they protesting what they consider police brutality, excessive force, and things of that nature?
I think it was the excessive force thing.
Because there's a difference.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
And I don't mean to paint with a broad brush. I apologize.
Yeah, but there are people who are mixed in there who are just,
every group has the bad apples and provocateurs. But no, it was and these police are selfless. I come from a family of cops. I have at least 10 police officers in my family. And to see an actor the caliber of Denzel Washington, somebody whose name and words do carry weight. I love the sentiment. I absolutely do.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the biggest problem. What I'm sorry, Scott.
No, no worries.
But I think that was the biggest problem. And like, Jayne's saying, it is really, and same thing with ETEP, it is that broad brush that they paint all the cops with. You know what? And you know what? Coming from Trenton, New Jersey, there is a lot, and I'm talking about a lot of bad cops in that city. And I have unfortunately been the victim of a lot of it. And you know what? Due to contrary opinion, you don't need to be a minority or of a darker color to wind up being singled out and mistreated by these son of a bitches, because I've had it happen, but I don't let that taint my judgment of every other member of the police force that's out there. They're not all bad. There are a few bad apples, but I think that's the problem, that they can't distinguish the difference between the ones that are bad and then the ones that are doing their job to the best of their ability.
Yeah, well, and some police departments are corrupt, and some of them, it's actually, my grandpa was, a police officer, so and he told me that there was this police officer that when you were hired, you have like a 2-year probation, but after that, it's very hard to fire a cop. And once that this one guy that was under him, he was the chief of police, so. One of the guys was just pulling over women and harassing them. The kind of disgusting, creepiness that you would expect, making up excuses. Like he would pull over like girls from the high school girls. Yeah, real creep. But then he had to find another way to fire him, like a technicality. What he did was, one thing that you can't do is if you have some damage to your patrol car, you have to report it. But he didn't report it, and so he fired him on that.
See, Justin, I thought that was the thing where they had the special investigations units that are in the police forces that they can call on to investigate individual officers.
Internal affairs.
I mean, I know, but that's a problem. I know it's a bit taboo for one cop to snitch on another cop.
Well, exactly.
Well, yeah, this was also like the late 80s or early 90s. It's very hard to get evidence of them doing so.
Part of it too is that people don't file complaints. I mean, that's been my big issue with the whole thing, is that their immediate reaction to police misconduct is to protest, as opposed to doing things that are much more productive toward getting within the system. And a lot of people don't file complaints. And when you ask them, well, if you're continuously getting stopped and harassed for no reason, why don't you just file a complaint? And their response is, well, they think they're not going to do anything about it. And the other is that they don't want to make themselves a target. So you sometimes have people
number two,
because no one says anything about it.
Right. It's all about a paper trail. It's all about a paper trail. Now the police union is a very strong union. I've worked in unions before, and unions protect really, I like unions and I don't, because unions fight, during contracts to get you better salaries and rates. But for the rest of the time, they're there to protect some of the laziest, worst people you got, because that's their job. And I understand that. And for a very long time, police did have that blue line of silence, and they would not go after each other. But it also was the change in certain political parties' views of the way the wind was blowing with Americans. And they went from one extreme to the other, from always defending the police to now let's abolish the police. And that's where I draw the line. I can understand reform and training and, keeping people accountable for what they do, no matter what position they hold. But the whole idea getting rid of the police altogether or defunding them will help a city that's in trouble out. I think that's ridiculous.
I agree. I think what they need to do is focus more on the laws that create this conflict between police and communities in the first place, because a lot of it ties back to drug laws at the end of the day. I mean, the people who are getting stopped and searched is because of drugs. It's not because they're murderers or rapists or anything. It's because they're looking for drugs. So if you decriminalize possession, you would probably have a lot fewer encounters, and the encounters you have would be focused more on serious offenses that would show the community that they're actually being protected as opposed to being targeted. and it would change
and a
the
lot of
entire
less young men in
relationship.
prison.
Exactly. It would
Seriously.
Well,
change a
Jayne,
lot.
but Jayne, isn't that? I mean, and I'm not trying to take away from certain drugs that probably should be decriminalized, but I mean, I think that's the problem. Is such a slippery slope. Once you start decriminalizing, where do you stop? Because once you make that argument, somebody's going to say, "Well, this should be decriminalized too." And you know what? I really don't think at any point in time that something like heroin down the line should wind up being decriminalized. And I think I think that's the fear that a lot of people have, that it will just continue down that path. Well, if we say okay to this, why can't we say okay to that and say okay to that? And then,
I think we have to look at how and why these things became criminalized in the first place, because it wasn't like it's always been this way. And also there are other ways to deal with addiction. It's not something where you have to give someone a felony that's going to remain on their record forever and make it difficult for them to get work and make their life even more miserable. So they self-medicate even more so. We definitely need to have more mental health options. Where I live in Louisiana, I can only think of 2 long-term treatment facilities that are even affordable to your average person. So in many is the only option. Like even when you talk to the district attorney, they'll tell you what we want to help these people. But what can we do? There's nowhere to send them. Jail is the only option. So that's in some cases, the entire court system is against it. But because they don't have an alternative, their hands are tied.
Oh, I went to rehab. I went to rehab, and I'll tell you this: when I walked into where we were staying, it looked like one of the crack houses I used to get high in, because that's all my insurance would pay for. But the thing I was going to say is, more people die from alcohol, related accidents or health issues than ever. You like marijuana, that's a joke. Why it's a real joke. If you know the history of why they criminalized it, it's a joke. And I think that is the one drug they should definitely decriminalize. Well, they have in a lot of places, but federally just make it legal, because a lot of kids are getting arrested and it's ruining, their chances of getting jobs and stuff like that because it's on their record, and that's just stupid. And truthfully, the Constitution gives us the freedom. If someone wants to do drugs, they should be allowed to do drugs if they're an adult and they know what responsibility they have to take. And this is coming from somebody who's in sobriety.
Yep, you just got to you have to do drugs at your own risk. Like you have been educated about what they do. The side effects. Sometimes you're too young and naive. That's why setting it at 21. That's why it's appropriate for that.
And don't forget, Justin, I grew up in the 80s as a kid, and that was just say no. They never told you that drugs make you feel good. They never told you you'll feel good for a while, and then that's when it gets you. All they said was just say no. They're and the minute you tried it for the first time, you're like, these friggin' liars. They should have. There's teaching. You have to teach the kids why they should be saying no.
Yeah, because they don't give you a reason.
Hey, Scott, I want to add on to that, and it's adding on to what Jayne said too. And it's not only the fact that a lot of these places are overpriced, and a lot of these people, they just can't get in because these places either have a long waiting list or they have certain requirements for you to be able to even get into those damn places. And now when it circles back around to what you said, as far as alcohol abuse, I mean, that's the same thing that happened to my brother. I mean, he stopped doing drugs because he got in trouble and he got picked up a few times because he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So he turned to alcohol, and alcohol just destroyed his life. I mean, he's 11 years younger than me, and he's sitting in a goddamn nursing home probably for the rest of his life with freaking almost no memories of what had happened 10 years ago because of alcohol. Right. But that's one of those things that, there is no real, there's no real kind of, laws really to kind of stymie people from doing that. You know what I mean? It's like open and it's free game. And a lot of the alcohol that's out there, it's 10 times worse than a lot of these, these lower type of drugs like marijuana and hash and stuff like that, because you don't see people losing their memories, walking around and getting picked up by the cops because they don't know who the hell they are. And well, I don't think I've ever heard nobody overdosing on it and being put in a nursing home.
Well, that's another thing. I don't know if people know this, but alcohol and things like benzos. Those are the only two that if you do not withdraw, like taper off the right way, you can die. You can't just cold turkey. Heroin might hurt and make you feel like you're going to die, but you can cold turkey that. Alcohol, you can have actual seizures and you could die. It's one of the worst drugs out there when it comes to abuse, but because it's socially acceptable and it has been forever, they allow it. And they realized with prohibition, all it did was make more crime. And I wish they would have realized, okay, maybe that goes for other, mind altering substances, that if we make this illegal, it makes it taboo and people want it. And now criminals will offer it. We wouldn't have things coming over the border if we can actually have companies here, manufacturing and growing certain things and then making sure it's federally regulated. But, it's still a taboo to do drugs. And Nancy Reagan really screwed us. What Shane G said.
What's happened too is now you have entire industries dependent upon these drugs being criminalized.
Right.
Entire judicial systems where the majority of offenses are drug offenses. But for those, there would be no courts, there would be no judges, there would be no anything, there would be no system. There would be fewer prisons. I mean, the entire system could be on the brink of collapse, if they legalize it. So that we've painted ourselves into a corner, sort of. And the other thing too I wanted to bring up was how this ties back into the protests and all of that is most of the times when drugs are found on people, it's in a traffic stop. Right. So you have to then look at, well, where are they stopping people? And it's generally not in the upper class neighborhoods. It's usually in the poorer areas. And so now you have basically poor communities who aren't doing drugs any more than anybody else being used to facilitate the entire funding of the local judicial system. So it's just all bad from top to bottom. And of course that creates hostility that fuels a lot of this mistrust of the police in some of these very communities that people got upset and started acting up.
Well, let's see what Denzel has to say. But that
by the way, I also have a family of police officers and soldiers. So
and you look, I've never heard you ever say anything negative about police, but I believe I am in recovery 11 years now, and I agree that a lot of drugs should be legal and they should be, federally, mandated to follow certain laws, because there's shit they make in bathtub. There's people with no teeth making drugs that I wouldn't buy a hamburger from. So I'd rather have it being made in some type of
God.
You're better off with a Walton's, people. Stop doing the drugs.
Oh, Jesus.
There you go.
Yeah, I would. You never know what some of these weird edibles or whatever is going to be in weed, that you purchase from your dealer in certain states. So I would personally love to have FDA approved edibles. I don't know about you guys, but I think that'd be great because it's safe.
Oh, what?
You know
Justin,
what
like the guys on the corner freaking dipping their weed in embalming fluid?
Those are called wiki sticks.
Oh, we used to call those illy or wet boat.
They used to call them boat. They used to call them boat back in Trenton.
These are legal and lab tested.
Yeah, there you go. And that's the way it should be.
That's I don't smoke. I like my edibles, and I get THC Kool-Aid. That is fucking amazing.
THC infused.
Yeah, it's called Cool Fade.
Yeah, don't get trapped into getting CBD. That's not real.
No.
Oh, I made that mistake and I was not happy.
No, it's like this just made me sleepy. F this.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm not feeling anything. I just want to I'm just like, where's the rush?
Yeah.
Well, you don't get the rush from CBDs, but you do get. There are a lot of benefits. All right. Makini is biting at the bit to read. So let's let Makini get that voice going.
All right. And just by the way, guys, if you're enjoying this, please smash that like button if you can. Toss a coin to your sporking. Always appreciate it. So this is coming from John F. Trent over at Bound Unit Comics. Denzel Washington declares the support for police on American shoulders, shows disgust for those who disparage them. Legendary actor Denzel Washington, whose career includes Man on Fire, Training Day, Remember the Titans, and Malcolm X, all great films, by the way, recently declared his support for both American police soldiers. Washington's comments came from speaking with Yahoo Entertainment for his upcoming film, The Little Things, where he plays a Joe Deacon, a disgraced LA County sheriff's detective hunting down a serial killer. Washington stated, "I have the utmost respect for what they do, for what soldiers do, and for the people that sacrifice their lives." He added, "I just don't care for people who put those kind of people down. If it weren't for them, we would not have the freedom to complain about what they do." His appearance for law enforcement came when he did a ride-along with law enforcement agency during prep work for his 1991 film Ricochet, where he played Nick Stiles, a police officer turned district attorney. Washington explained that, "I went out with a sergeant. We got a call of a man outside his house with a rifle and that was distraught. We pulled up and did a U-turn past the house, came up short of the house as well. He told me to sit in the car, which I was going to do, but he wasn't getting out. He got out. As he got out, another car came screaming up. 2 young people jumped out screaming. As it turned out, it was their grandfather. This policeman diffused the entire situation by just remaining calm. But it showed to me that in an instant how they could lose their life. He didn't overreact. He could have pulled his gun out, shot the people that came up driving real fast. He could have shot the old man that was distraught and a bit confused. I think he was suffering a little bit from dementia, but in an instant, it taught me. I never forgot it. And what our law enforcement people have to deal with, the moment to moment, second to second, he added. See, Washington diffused his own intense situation just last year. Video shared to social media shows the actor talking with a man and 2 police officers. As reported by USA Today, Washington saw the man driving and decided to pull over because he was concerned for his safety. He then helped the man to get to the side of the street. Another witness then phoned the police. One of the officers describing the situation saying, we intervened, spoke with the individual, and determined that he did not want to harm himself or others. He was on his way, and Denzel left. The officer added, Denzel provided him a mask to protect himself from the environment, and that was good. So Denzel helped us today. The officer sorry.
Oh, no, just finish it. It's almost done. Sorry.
Yeah, the officer described Washington as a very good Samaritan. What you make of Washington's comments regarding police and soldiers? Do you think he'll face any backlash to the comment and progress into the live of BLM and is to fund the police nationwide throughout 2020? There we go.
All right. So what do you guys think? Will Denzel be canceled, or does he have that much clout that people will respect where he's coming from? Because I do. I respect the man.
I don't think he said anything particularly controversial among the majority of people. But, Twitter is Twitter. So there's nothing he could have said that wouldn't have resulted in some kind of backlash.
There's always going to be somebody offended regardless.
Yep. Especially on Twitter, because you'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy than Twitter.
We must be cautious.
What about you, Culture? We haven't heard from you. What do you think?
Well, look, if they go at him or cancel him, I mean, they're gonna further elucidate just how silly any of those positions would be. I mean, the concept of defund the police, it fell pretty flat with pretty much most everyone, and so much so that they actually, you've had some of the crazy leftists come out and say we need to change the way we say things. So it's just. It's just one of those things. I never, it never surprises me when thoughtful people say thoughtful things. It always surprises me when people react in a manner that's inconsistent with what was stated. And that happens pretty much every day. Twitter's garbage. You have, you have a handful of people that, contribute in a positive way. You have a handful of people who, are there for information. And then you have a giant community of humans that are just completely ignorant and assholic. So there you are.
Well, what's funny about that Culture is it's really not just Twitter. I mean, I know it's a phenomenon with Twitter and Facebook and all these other social media sites, but I've actually seen this while out in a store, like out in a Target or a shitty ass Walmart or something like that. I mean, these idiots exist out there in real life too, and they are ready to just be offended at the drop of a dime. It's truly amazing.
Right.
And what's surprising is that some people have those views, but they, surprisingly, to some of you, they listen. They want to talk. They might have their own views, but not everyone is just going to shut you down because you have a different opinion. So these people who might agree with the social justice warriors on several issues, there are people you can actually talk to, but we like to pretend that we can't, because there's this, what people do, it's a natural human instinct, is that there's like this other, this like big bad guy that, we have to be up against. And if we're not up against anyone, then we're just going to fight amongst ourselves. Because I think it's just basic human instinct. But to get back to, I think, what we were talking about, I don't think Denzel is going to be canceled. He's not accessible to the SJWs like, let's say, Terry Crews is. I don't know why, but I guess Terry Crews is in movies and shows that SJWs like, I guess.
No, what I think the biggest thing with him was, Justin, is he has like a pretty big heart, and he takes things very personal. So when they came at him, he kind of felt like he was backed in a corner, and he didn't want to upset people. I mean, that's just the type of person that he is.
Unfortunately, it's like the SJWs in a way, they sense weakness, even though Terry
that's it right there, Justin.
Yeah, if you try to be empathetic, it's just like you try to reason. Sometimes it won't always work. It depends on the kind of person you are.
You also have to remember Terry Crews. It's not just that people don't like his personality because of some things he's done. Like, for example, when you remember when he was accusing people of someone of sexually harassing or assaulting him?
Weinstein.
Yep,
at the dawn of the Me Too movement.
Exactly. And Gabrielle Union came out.
Yeah, got his back.
Supported him loudly in front of everybody when he was being criticized. And then she turned around and was complaining about how she was treated at her work environment, where they both, I think, had worked at one point. And he didn't back her. He, in fact, said some things that were insulting to her. And that upset a lot of people, including myself, because I feel like if this is your friend, this is the one person who stuck their neck out for you to turn around. You could have said nothing.
Exactly.
And he chose not to.
And
so
I agree with you on that. Say nothing.
Being such a great person. After that, it made me question it. And I've looked at everything he's done since differently. So that's part of why people don't like him. It's this thing where he'll say anything to get support. He'll say whatever he thinks is the thing to say.
Go ahead, Makini.
Right, and here's the thing, guys, and I can't stress this enough. Don't believe that whole silence is complacent bullcrap. Don't believe that at all.
Yeah,
everybody has a reason to speak the way they want to speak. Everybody has a reason to keep their opinions to themselves. Even no matter how big or how small you are, you don't have to speak up to say anything about it. A lot of people handle situations differently. Some people, the best way to do it is just kind of keep the head low, just kind of keep quiet, just not speak up, say anything. That's totally fine.
Some people some people don't even know what's happening. They could be like, they could be off the grid on a cruise or whatever, and then they're just like, they come back to their social media, and that's like, what the hell happened? Like, I don't know. Not everyone spends every waking moment on social media. Like, not everyone everyone cares. Sometimes their Twitter page is run by an assistant. They don't care about that. They're busy doing their own thing. And some people just don't have an opinion. It's okay not to have one. You don't have to speak out against every single issue. It's actually kind of annoying sometimes.
That's the world of social media, and people are like that now. Go ahead, Makini, and then I'll
so I'll try to make this quick, and I know don't worry. I know if I bring it up, it's going to get political, but there's no way around it. Listen, I agree 100% with Denzel on this one. I completely agree with him 100%. I will say that it sounds like out of everybody in this, everybody's in this chat and in the panel, I'm probably one of the fortunate ones who's never had any like bad relationships, bad contact with the police. And I was only pulled over once in my entire life, and that was just for a busted taillight or headlight.
That wasn't for busted taillight. No,
it was a busted headlight.
Was it busted before they pulled you over?
Yeah, no, it was busted before they pulled me over. Yeah, I got into a fender bender.
The sheriff's department where I live got a couple of them got fired. They would sit outside of I live in a small town, and at one point there was 35 bars around the lake, and they would sit across the road in this like wooded area across from one of the bars, and they would watch for like a week and survey cars to see who was there. And then they would go over when there was nobody in the parking lot. One of them would walk over, take their baton, crack taillights, and pull people over.
Oh, that is not okay.
So here's my thing.
Yep. And they caught two of
here's
them
my
doing
problem
that.
Here's ultimately where I stand with this whole ACAB and defund the police. Despite everything that's happened and everything has happened, I can't in good consciousness paint the entire police force just on a bunch of bad apples, because I know
a lot of people will call that prejudice.
Like that. I've had cops growing up in high school who are incredibly nice, who have been incredibly supportive, who have been looking out for everybody in the neighborhood. Everybody in the neighborhood I grew up in, the city, towns I grew up. So no, I don't support the ACAB. I don't support the defund the police. I've been strongly against that. And on top of that, and I know not a lot of people bring this up, I've always had this problem with, say what you will about our military, but I've always had a thing against people taking jabs at our military, maybe because I've had friends who served in the military. My freaking co-host served in the military.
Yep.
So I have the uttermost respect for them.
Yeah, Mad Mardigan. He served our country as well, and he's a weirdo.
Served in the police force too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, over half my family is that served in the military in some form or fashion. My grandfather actually fought in World War I. So when I hear these people sit there and they talk about the military, it pisses me the fuck off.
Tommy, I'm sorry to cut you off. I really am, because he has a show. So let's get ETEP out of here, and we'll come right back to you. He has to always leave for his show in the middle of mine. So everybody wants to. Okay, ETEP. Okay.
Right. So I'm over on ETEP Queens, a place to be reviews, and tonight, come on over to the place to be reviews for some world-class bullshitting in the place to be with Jeff Hitt, Nick Newham, myself, and my co-host Tony Tone Deaf are going to kind of rock the house. Episode 10 of Going Rogue. It's my Rogue show tonight. Is called Wakanda Shit Is This. So come on over and check out Wakanda Shit Is This, and hang out for some world-class bullshitting in the place to be reviews. Thank you, panel. You guys rock, all of you. I'll be over on Justin Proper's channel tomorrow night at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yep. You're letting him on our show, Justin?
Yes, of course.
All right. Well, he didn't invite.
He literally. No, you don't understand. He literally came on to the Rookie Critics birthday stream, and I'm just like, me and Mary Mayhem were just like, I like you. You're cool.
I'm on Mary's channel next Wednesday. Our Rogue show will be cut short next Wednesday, and I'll be over on Mary Mayhem's channel next Wednesday.
This is gonna be awesome.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow, guys.
Awesome.
So no matter what, you're always going to cut some show short, is what you're saying.
Yep.
I'm cutting my own short next week, so yeah.
What I know he's definitely trying to do is take people out of my chat in about 15 minutes, and he's name dropping. So get the fuck out of here.
I think it's funny, Scotty. You should be best friends with him. He's trying to cut everything short.
Yeah, well, I'm already friends with the author, so I got enough.
That's what Moyles do.
All right, get out of here, man. Good luck tonight.
Get out of jail for me, man.
All right.
He's okay.
I gotta stop having him on. I gotta stop having him on, though. Big names on his.
Why? Why?
Scott promised me that
he brings all the ladies, dude.
Yeah.
Scott promised me on the.
He doesn't bring no ladies. He's a strudel man.
What's wrong with that?
Sure. What are you trying to say, Malcolm?
Scott promised me that I was going to be on front center the moment we get Jeff on on a dump stream. So
yeah.
He remembers when I lost my mind when I spoke to him for the first time.
Yeah. Well, I talked to Jeff, I talked to Doomcock, and I talked to a couple other people. I'm waiting till I get my new setup before I embarrass myself and have those guys on. And once I get the new setup and I could be on video and everybody else and my shit won't freeze up, we'll start getting some people back on the show. It's just, it sucks when they're on and I'm freezing and I have no clue what's going on. But real quick, the last thing I was going to say on Denzel was the a big difference between someone like Denzel and Terry Crews is Denzel has made it, and it's not only about money, but he has made enough money in his career. He doesn't have to listen to anybody. Crews is still he has a large family. He's a working class guy. He's always out there trying to make a buck. And if he feels like the winds are turning on him, it seems like he's the type that'll flip against it, and that's sometimes, family over your own morals. Sometimes, I don't know. I respected him for a while, and then I've seen him flip flop on things when Twitter goes after him. I appreciate people that stand their ground.
Well, you have to remember that Terry Crews, I mean, even though we all know who he is, a lot of people know who he is, he's not like a complete A-list. He's not an A-list celebrity.
Right.
Yeah. He himself does not just bring people to the box office just because he's in the movie. He is more like I don't think I can name anything where he's a main character in, like the lead. He's always been a supporting character, a side character, and that's where he works. So he has to jump from all these different projects and tries not to get fired from any of them because, he is kind of, in a way, I'm not saying he's not broke or anything, but he's not Denzel rich. He's not set.
No, he's not.
He's a hard-working actor.
Absolutely.
And he's successful for himself. And he lives a comfortable lifestyle. I would even say maybe upper middle class because LA's expensive as hell. So
he doesn't come off as authentic as Denzel. That's part of it.
That's it too.
That's the problem. Yeah, you don't have the authenticity.
And I guarantee you, there are
he's
things
got to play the game.
There are things I'm sure Denzel believes that people who are praising him for this would disagree with because that's just who he is. He has his positions. He's been in this game a very long time, and he has never really compromised that I've seen.
Right.
Versus Terry, who just floats from what opinion you want him to have to the next.
Right,
Yeah,
and that's
and
that's the thing that that's the what we're seeing with Denzel is the same thing we saw with James Woods, and another example is Gina Carano. Is that there are people in Hollywood who are willing to stand their ground, who are willing to stand by their own moral beliefs despite the outrage, despite the waves crashing on them, and they're open to speak about it. And I know there's probably more people in Hollywood who have that same kind of morality and such as what we see with Denzel or so we see with Gina Carano. They just don't speak up about it.
Well, listen,
but even the people have a different opinion. If they are, it's a difference. It almost doesn't even matter what the opinion is. You have some people who are authentic,
right,
and they believe what they're saying, and will stand firm in it. And you have those people who just don't, or they're fake.
Right.
Or some people just don't know what they're talking about, or their beliefs aren't set. Like younger people for sure. Like I would say that about myself in some ways. Like I'm not firm in all my beliefs. I have developed core principles. Things that I will not tolerate, and just it's taken me a long time to be able to just be confident in those beliefs. Like if you feel like you're being mistreated or someone's being rude, I used to always just apologize thinking like, oh, I'm doing the wrong thing. It must be me in the wrong. Then at some point I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to take this from you today. Like, I'm not going to do it, and so it's a mixture of all different things.
It comes with age. It really does. I used to be very, well, that's it. I used to be very self-conscious. Like if you didn't like me, I was going to find a way to make sure you liked me as a person. And then I realized, why the hell am I doing this? You have to work on yourself first. But the next article, I kind of switched up our lineup because the next article, we're going to talk about someone, Jayne Carano, who is a working class actor who is starting to build in her career and wasn't scared and didn't bend the knee. And for that, even if she was, standing up for something I didn't agree with, I respect her principles, and I agree with her. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, even if she was reversed and she, was screaming Antifa forever, at least she's willing to stand up when the mob comes after her. Like, there's a lot of people out there right now that will go with the wind. And the minute, let's say, it flips back to the right, you'll start hearing people switch their views. And I can't stand that. Like, just be solid in who you are if you're an adult, and make sure you learn what you believe in and then follow it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, that's the biggest thing. When I always talk about, you can't always be silent. You can't. You have to say shit. If you have something that is that important to you, and it's wrong, you got to be able to call these people out, and you can't be silent all the time, because every time you're silent, you're just allowing that to just continue unabated, and it always tends to wind up getting worse if you don't say anything. So, and Justin, if you have a problem getting firm, buddy, they have pills that can correct that.
No.
Yeah. Stephen Walton has
never been a problem, but thank you for the help. I'm glad that you've had that experience to be able to give that advice to me, and so I can remember this. And
no, Scott's having that problem, but he's got a whole line coming out. If you haven't seen it yet,
soon enough.
I have to send you a DM.
Well, next week I'm getting the snip, so I'm getting snip.
Wait, are you? Awesome. Oh my God, are you getting your balls chopped?
Well, not chopped. I mean, we still have testes. But yeah. If it helps you, Justin, to get a image in your mind, yes, they're getting chopped.
He's going to be a eunuch.
Before we begin, I just want to say
I'm going to leave these scissors here just for that gag in the future.
I just want to give a big shout out to Anna, that Star Wars girl. Her painting of Gina of Cara Dune was recognized by Jayne Carano today.
Oh, cool!
Gina actually commented on it and retweeted it. I was like, "Oh, that's awesome."
It's a really good painting.
Who made it? Anna.
Anna.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Machini, yours was dope too, dude.
I'm going to work on it on Friday. It ended abruptly, but we're going to continue it on Friday. So
I would like to see Gina, talk about yours. I'd like to see it. Everyone compliments Anna. It's nice to give you
on my profile. You can probably look at it.
Yeah, Machini, you deserve it. You deserve it, buddy.
I'm sure she'll get to it. I mean, she's been going through everybody's posts.
That is another thing about her.
Yeah, she's like the only Star Wars person who's interested in what we have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm actually really surprised. Now, I'm not gonna, I don't post about Jayne Carano because I'm not about to be that person who wants to just fangirl for her attention because I'm not about that.
You don't want to be on the fan train, is what you're saying.
No, because it'll just seem like I'm, leeching off of that, and I don't want to do that. I want to say things that no one else is saying. Everyone's saying things about.
She's following people and liking, because I don't do that either. I don't repost everything and all that. But there have been things I've said where she would like it or whatever, just randomly.
Yeah,
that has nothing to do with her necessarily. So she's engaged in a way that I have never seen a celebrity of her caliber, and I think it may be in part because she does genuinely appreciate the support she's getting. Which came at a time when there were just waves of attack that were just completely unfounded and out of nowhere. And so, I mean, don't forget too, she's been working at this, her craft. She started out years ago as a fighter, but she has been working to get to this level for so long. It's not like one of these kids who instantly becomes famous and then believes everybody owes them something. Like, she understands that it's the fans that got her to where she is. I mean, it's her hard work, but our appreciation keeps her there, and she's engaged with that. And I wish more
actors and actresses realize that, you know, we're the ones that do pay your paycheck. We literally pay your paychecks. And,
Well,
we'll hit them with the money.
Hey, Jayne, wouldn't you actually say that part of the reason that she is like that is because of her MMA background? Because it's so much more involved with the fans when you're a fighter. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're literally, you're not just relying on the fans to show up to watch your fight. You're relying on them for moral support during the fight. You know, their cheers are what's going to get a lot of these fighters amped up.
That's a good point. Athletes tend to be really engaged with their fans. That's a really good point. I think that may have something to do with it, that she's an athlete, and that may have, it comes more easily to her perhaps than people who are just like theater students or whatever.
Oh, theater students? Yeah, some of them are just theater students.
A prickly bunch at times. A prickly bunch.
Yeah, the ones that are like, hi, bitches. Look at what I just say.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think with theater students, there's a certain amount of disconnect too. So
there's a certain amount of narcissism too that's necessary.
And, absolutely.
And everyone who is I mean, myself included a little bit. I'm not going to lie here. Say I don't enjoy attention, but when I do get it or when I get praise, I get uncomfortable. You know, so there's always there's this insecurity that actors have, and I guess they have to project and pretend, and they pretend for a living. So it's like a way of hiding from yourself and shielding yourself from criticism that people will just lash out at you. But I gotta say, I got to ask this question. Who here on the panel has gotten punched in the face?
I have.
Not me.
Builds character, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, yeah, that definitely builds character. It took me many punches in the face to realize I should sometimes keep my mouth shut, though.
I'll tell you what, there's nothing quite as fun as getting hit upside the head with a bat or two.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
That's a lot of fun. You should try it sometime.
Yeah, I'll get out my bat right now. Who wants some batting practice?
I do have some fun stories about getting beat, in fights or jumped or stuff like that. I always wrote checks. Sometimes my ass could not, cash. And people definitely took me up on that. But let's read a little bit of this article. Cultured. If anybody wants to jump in while he's reading, just jump in. And let's see what they're trying to say about Gina now.
Real quick, the only thing I want to say is just what I was trying to say is that Gina Carano's gotten punched in the face, and having that happen to you, getting beat up, it makes you not really care as much about stupid words on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. That's all I was gonna say.
Awesome.
Makes you grow thick skin.
It does make calluses. All right. Whenever you're ready, Culture.
Yes, the Mandalorian star, Gina Carano, has a new message for fans. The Mandalorian star, Gina Carano, recently praised Star Wars fans in a new social media post, which came days after fans celebrated her. What happened? Carano posted a new tweet Monday that thanked fans for their continued support for her as Star Wars actress, according to Cinema Blend. You all got hashtag love Cara Dune. We love Cara Dune and trending. My heart is so blessed. Love finds a way. Hashtag never give up. I see you, she said in her tweet, which included video footage.
And cool.
I mean, right there, that statement alone, to never give up, that is definitely more of a sports person's take on things. So,
shall we watch the video?
Well, Scott's sharing somebody else's screen, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't mind if you want to share it.
Sure.
I don't think we're going to get taken down or anything.
Go right ahead.
No, that Disney doesn't own her personal
Twitter
account.
They're not going to hit us for that. So I mean, it's to her fans. Guess what? We're her fans. So hold on, let me bring that up.
If you actually grab the right share, Scott, I can show it to everybody.
Well, Justin, you have it?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Audio sharing. Shall we?
We shall.
I want you to know I see you and you inspire me. And I love this character so much. And I'm so glad that came through. And I'm so glad so many of you have connected with her.
Yeah, that's nice. It was a nice. Sweet. short, short and sweet to the point. Unlike whenever I talk.
I have that problem too. I definitely have that problem too. It's nice. It's nice to have an actor not talk down to us, but actually thank us for being there. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh wow, showing appreciation for people who like and support you. Well, gee, goes a long way. Who would have thought?
What a novel concept.
Yeah, I mean, most people just are too busy to look at it. They ignore people. Sometimes they'll be engaging, but I understand you can't engage with every single person, but it's the thought that counts. It's the effort. So, yeah.
And I think what it is that Gina is that kind of that one celebrity who's able to kind of weed out the good from the good fans from like the more outraged fans, the more people who are more out there. She's able to see, just kind of bring out the best fans out of her, not just kind of like seeing both sides, and just kind of bring the best out of everybody, best out of her own fan base.
And I'm so glad that her co-stars have her back too. Like, even Pedro, like,
yeah.
Yep.
I don't agree with Pedro a lot, but I don't care if he has, if he says what, I don't know. What did he say that got him in trouble or whatever?
Oh, well, he came after President Trump at the time and his supporters. That's the one thing about her. She doesn't make political statements. She does make statements about what she believes in and her morals. And she's never been rude from any of the stuff I've seen. And these people twist, that's what I hate about Twitter, and what I actually hate about texting in general, because people put in their own, their own way of reading it. So you could write something like, "Hey, how's your day?" And someone can respond like, "What do you mean, how's my day?" It's how you read it, interpret it.
It's like, hey, I'm nocturnal. I'm offended by that.
Yeah, exactly. I sleep. I don't know.
I sleep during the day. I'm a vampire and I'm offended.
My close friend, he always says it, that, and especially when we chat back and forth, is that it's much easier to speak. It's easier to actually speak rather than trying to do it through text. You're able to actually convey what you're saying and what you're feeling much easier by just talking about it versus trying to just put it through text.
Gets you in trouble. Text can get you in trouble.
Yeah, but you know what? It's sometimes even just talking to somebody, you might actually convey the wrong message, because a lot of times it's also the facial expressions and everything else that goes along with it that's actually, really personifying what you're trying to get across. So
it's not what you say, it's how you say it, your inflection. You miss all of that on text, and it's all up in the air, and you have to be so precise with your words. Otherwise, words are important, but it's just like you have to. You have to,
like, if you don't put LOL, or smiley,
oh my god, I don't want to put LOL.
I do think that
it's funny because I'm not laughing out loud with any of these stupid fucking jokes. Like I don't know. It's just like, it's this weird millennial culture that I happen to.
Yeah, has anybody really rolled on the floor? Anybody rolling on the floor laughing?
Almost. There have been times where
it's a figure of expression.
It's
All right. Now, Culture, this is the one I'm sharing. It says your name under the thing. I don't know why we don't see you scrolling, but is there any responses from fans, or is this about it?
It shared. Well, that's my fault. It's shared the wrong tab. Well, anyway.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
The tweet came after Carano received heavy support. Well, I think I already read that, didn't I? No. The tweet came after Carano received heavy support from Star Wars fans over the weekend. Fans tweeted so much praise for Carano that the hashtag #WeLoveGinaCarano trended across the United States and the world, which I wrote about for Deseret News. Context: Carano has faced a backlash in recent months from the Star Wars community. Or at least a subset of it. And as
that's illogical, Culture.
Gina Carano for Star Trek Discovery.
Fans created the hashtag #FireGeneCarano hashtag, calling on Disney to fire the actress for her political beliefs, which she previously shared on Twitter, as I wrote for Deseret News. Yes, you did, dude. Holy crap. Those beliefs have included tweets about COVID-19 vaccine, Democrats, face masks, and voter fraud, among other political issues. Disney hasn't commented on Carano's status with Star Wars, though. Okay. And that's not the way you finish a sentence, douche knuckle, but whatever.
And what I want to add on to this is that this came high off the heels of the whole situation with Christina Ariel. That whole situation is kind of the reason why we started, kind of the reason why I feel a lot of people started the hashtag and got it trending was because of just Lucasfilm, being dishonest.
Remind people what that was.
So, Christina Ariel, one of the writers of The High Republic, one of the hosts of The High Republic show that started as well. She, John F. Trent and the others in Bounding the Comics, they pointed out that she has made some very disparaging tweets about white people in the past. And they brought it all up. What happened was that either it was Christina who cried to Lucasfilm, or somebody brought this up to Lucasfilm, which caused Lucasfilm to make a tweet basically saying, "We stand with Christina Ariel. We stand against racism and prejudice." This situation sparked big over the weekend because, one, it not only does it just shows that there's a big disparaging war between Lucasfilm and the fans and such, but it also shows how much Lucasfilm's utter disgusting level of hypocrisy, considering the fact that they wished Kelly Marie Tran a happy birthday, but not to James Earl Jones. The fact that they made a statement on Martin Luther King, but not showed any respect to James Earl Jones or John Boyega and such. This caused this whole tweet storm because of that, and because of the fact that people have been going after Gina continuously. A lot of people, especially a lot of people in our fandom, we had to get the hashtag trending because Gina is one of the few people within Star Wars, within Lucasfilm, who has not shown any animosity or any hatred towards their own the fans.
Absolutely. But they're trying to put her in that light. Mm-hmm. They're trying to say she did because, it all started with her telling people she respected them putting their pronouns in their bio, but she just didn't want to do it. And that was like to them, a death sentence. They had to destroy her. And it's this cancel culture ruining somebody's life, ruining their career. I don't understand it because of their beliefs. It's ridiculous. And I think social media feeds into that.
Well, it seems like at that point we should go after people who are actually actively canceling people. I think that they should be pointed out, every dirty little skeleton in their closet, because we've seen a lot recently. I mean, even the press secretary from in the new administration in the White House apparently said some very disparaging remarks towards homosexuals. So,
oh, did he? Huh.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Yes, she did. Well, we're going to be talking about those big tech companies. Some conservative Republicans have tried to, brought them to Capitol Hill, did nothing really with that. Just kind of
squat.
It's kind of just a pony, what do they call that? Something pony show?
Dog and pony show.
Dog and pony show. That's it. But another Governor DeSantis of Florida really went at them in his speech. And if culture can start that, let's read a little bit.
Governor DeSantis proposes law that would fine big tech companies that deplatform political candidates. Well, I hope he does more than that, and I hope it's more than those. But here we go.
Oh, it is. It's a very good read, and it's. I mean, the watching the video itself is a bit long-winded, but he hits all the points that you want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why you have people like the Quartering, who's all about reforming Section 230, and why where everybody's trying to prop up alt tech now because of
Well, they
this.
should not reform it. They should just get rid of it because technically speaking, they never needed it. They just thought they did.
Well, when they created it, it was created because they originally said that they were going to be platforms for free speech, which they're claiming that they're not anymore. So once they're no longer under the umbrella of free speech, 230 should have been gotten rid of immediately.
No, they were trying to create a shield for themselves so that they couldn't be sued if someone said something that resulted in harm to another person.
Right, that was it.
But they could always have argued that it's that person's responsibility, what they did, their own actions. That could have always been a legal argument.
Right.
They created,
the problem is
the concern out of nowhere. And that's how they got the law, and they never needed it.
Right.
Well, again,
the problem is that they're deciding who can speak freely on their sites and who can't. And when you do that, you're a publisher. You're
not a publisher. That's their.
Yes, you are. When you decide to,
that's
but
their
they are.
argument. No, they're not. Because even if they were, the fact is, you can't. If I say something on a platform, and I end up causing some sort of harm, I should be held responsible, not the platform I'm sitting on.
I agree with you on that. What I'm saying is
Jayne, to a degree, most of these people already are, and that's why the FCC came after a lot of those YouTubers and everything that were making videos that were, directed towards children, and they had all those ads and everything. Remember all that nonsense?
Yeah.
That was an exact model of how the YouTuber was going to be held accountable for it. Yes, YouTube was initially at fault because they were the ones putting all those ads on all those commercials. But once they took their own liability and said that it was going to be up to the YouTuber to be a little bit more conscious of the material they were putting out and the ads that were going to be put on their channels, they became responsible, and YouTube was no longer responsible for it. And there should have been writing in the terms of service to reflect that. And I'm pretty sure there probably is now, but that's where it should have been that way from the beginning.
Anybody is going to try to get immunity. Anybody, any individual, any corporation. And that's the only thing this was about. They just wanted blanket immunity. They didn't have to have it. They didn't need it, and we never should have granted it to them. The question I've always had about it is, why would the government even do that unless they wanted an in with these corporations to be able to do their own thing, which most likely includes spying on us?
Yeah, I don't doubt that either. The only thing I mean by a publisher, Jayne, and maybe I'm saying it wrong, but when you're able to, and you could show evidence of this during election season, control the narrative of one of the political parties by silencing certain voices in that political party, but allowing the same thing to be said on the other side, you are now deciding on the content on your platform. And when you do that, you are no longer an open platform. You are controlling the information coming out. The only thing I understand,
I agree with you there, and I think they do, and I think they can. I think you can control whatever you want on your platform.
Not when you get the tax breaks, they do.
Well, that's my point. Is that they shouldn't. They should never have gotten any of those benefits.
And now they have so much control, it's ridiculous. But I don't know. Let's read a little bit of what was said, and then we'll come back.
Okay.
Culture Casino.
Hello and welcome to Movie Phone. Oh no, that's not right.
Fail.
Florida Governor DeSantis proposed new laws Tuesday to combat big tech censorship of right-wing political candidates. What began as a group of upstart technology companies from the West Coast has since transformed into an industry of monopoly communications platforms that monitor, influence, and control the flow of information in our country and among our citizens. DeSantis said from the cabinet meeting room, well, I guess I should have read that differently. Anyway, sorry. The governor said big tech is becoming more like Big Brother with each passing day. Used to be that consumers were trusted to make their own decisions about what information to consume, about which leaders to follow, about what news to watch, he said. Now, those decisions are increasingly made by nameless, faceless boards of censors. Well, they spelled censors wrong. They're fired. DeSantis said when 2.8 million Americans downloaded the social media app Parler, a self-described free speech platform, it was canceled by Amazon, Google, and Apple. What about the 88 million Americans who chose to follow Donald Trump on Twitter? Sorry, content moderators on Twitter pulled the plug, the governor said. DeSantis said they can't let big tech manipulate news content and design algorithms to give an upper hand to the candidates of their choice. That's why in Florida, we're going to take aim at those companies and pull back the veil and make sure those guys don't continue to find loopholes and gray areas to live above the law, DeSantis said. Under our proposal, if a technology company deplatforms a candidate for elected office in Florida during an election, that company will face a daily fine of $100,000 until the candidate's access to the platform is restored. DeSantis also proposed that if a company promotes a candidate for office against another, the value of that free promotion must be recorded as a political campaign contribution. I agree with that.
Oh, wow.
In fact, what I would consider is that daily fine should be paid to the candidate whose voice was removed. That's ultimate there.
Well, it's never going to happen.
That's not going to happen. Yeah.
Actually, they're never
going to happen.
I'm not entirely on board with just giving that to the other candidate per se. Well, I mean, if they're running for an election, well, I'm not sure about that. But I will say that I think the fine is a little too small.
Well, you know what though, it's a cumulative fine. It's a cumulative fine. It's not really so much there to punish them monetarily. It's just it's a slap in the face to them. Is basically what he's.
I'm surprised they wouldn't go with $1 million at least.
What it is, the reason why is because this is a political campaign move for him. Because he knows that none of this would actually happen.
Yeah, you got a valid point there, Jayne. I mean, the problem is that the government made the mistake of not. The government's always behind when it comes to technology. When it comes to like this type of technology, social media, they didn't know what they had, so it also morphed into something different. Like Twitter is no longer just where you tell people I'm taking a crap today or I'm going to eat breakfast. You actually get your news there instantly when it happens. And I don't think they know what to do with that yet. And they need to find a way to control it a bit.
But
essentially,
okay,
sorry. So I was going to say, essentially, social sites like Twitter, it's become the place of public discourse.
Well, no, it's not because they don't allow it. They don't allow it on both sides.
This is the thing, though. People, I don't like government getting involved at all. Government never should have been involved with them or against them or anything. These are simply platforms for people to talk.
But they did.
If you don't like it, then go somewhere else.
No, this is my problem, Jayne.
But here's the thing, though.
Okay, go for it.
This same government that's so we don't understand the internet. We don't like what the internet's doing. We don't like these platforms.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same government that every year or every time it's up for renewal passes the Patriot Act, which allows them to surveil that very same internet, these very same platforms. And if you want, I mean, it's just, I guess what I'm saying is whatever benefit these companies are getting, it's not without some benefit to the government.
Right.
Because it makes no sense for them to, and it's not a moral thing.
You got companies like, the parent group of Google, ABC or whatever they are. Like they're so powerful.
Alphabet.
Twitter, Alphabet, Twitter, they're so powerful. They are the Rockefellers of this century. They are the Carnegies. They can mold what they want. And we saw this in the last year. They decided what they want you to see. I mean, people would have lost their mind if they fact checked Obama or if they started to fact check Biden. This. If you're going to do it, it needs to be fair on both sides. And if it's not, that's where I say our constitutional rights, because they are a company from the United States, should come in and protect us. They're becoming too powerful when it comes to deciding what information goes out, who gets to speak, who gets to get highlighted. I mean, they destroyed Parler because they decided we don't want, conservative voices having a place of their own. So we're shutting you down.
Actually,
it's competition.
Yeah.
No, it's a dissenting voice is really what it was. It was a dissenting voice that they didn't want to hear.
Well, conservatives need to create our own platforms at the end of the day. We need to have our own servers, our own whatever.
Yeah, but they tried. They tried. And unfortunately, the companies that actually control the ability of what these platforms are going to be able to use to be able to get on the internet, they're the ones that are shutting them down.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. That though there shouldn't be a single source for that. It seems like no one is talking about the fact that apparently everything we're on is owned by one or two or three entities.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. That's the bigger problem.
That's for everything. We used to have 6 different companies that are in charge of all of the media. Now there are 5. I think it's collapsed to 4. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, it's either 4 or 3, something like that.
Not 3 quite yet. I mean, there's only 2 political parties, but then there's also like 1,000 different places where you can get donuts. Like there's like this weird illusion of choice, and it's just like I don't know. But even that, with all the damn fast food restaurants, it seems like there's no choice in a small town. But it's this whole oligopoly thing. It's not a monopoly, but just
oligopoly.
It's close. I mean,
the only
with Shane,
3 people, own everything.
Very close.
Yeah. Culture.
Well, you know what? Here's I wanted to say this real quick, though. I think it is important for people like DeSantis and others to actually come out and say something, even in the end, if not a whole lot winds up getting done, because who's going to pay attention to a smaller platform person, like whether it's anybody here on the panel or I don't really care who it is. I don't care if it's PewDiePie. It doesn't matter. They are going to get ignored for the most point, for the most part. Now, when you got a politician talking about it and bringing light to it on a much bigger stage, that's when more people are going to pay attention. Maybe more people are going to investigate in this, and maybe eventually something will actually get done. I know Ted Cruz tried to do the same damn thing when he went after Google, and he just fell flat on his face like he always does. But it's these type of people that really need to bring this to light, because more people need to be aware of it. So they need... You need to spark the influence for other companies to create the type of technology that we need, so you can actually have a completely free and clear another choice besides the big 3 that are out there now. So these other platforms have another place that they can call home and be able to set up shop.
So why not pass legislation that makes that possible? See, that's the problem I have with what politicians are saying. Mm-hmm. It's always divisive, it's always aggressive, it's never actually geared towards solutions, because they could create legislation that requires that there be multiple independent platforms. They could create legislation that breaks up some of these very close to monopolies. I mean, they could create subsidies, all sorts of things they could do if they wanted to truly increase opportunities for public discourse. Instead, it's, let's just fine them. Why? Because that's a quick talking point that'll help him get elected. It's not an actual solution,
Jayne,
because he knows he can do anything with it.
But Jayne, this is the same thing that's actually happened throughout history. Because if you look at Carnegie and you look at all the other people from the past, when they built their empires, there was really nobody there to oppose them. And they ran rampant with their monopolies. And it wasn't until people started speaking up against them, until more people started looking into it, before something was finally done. And it didn't happen overnight. It actually took quite a long time before they got brought down.
I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm saying his solution should be more effective.
Oh, without a doubt. I won't argue that.
Because the whole thing about, let's just find them is just like, okay, they're the enemy. Let's target them. Let's punish them. That's not creating opportunities for other voices.
But Jayne, don't you think it's fair that he's starting somewhere?
No, because it's a BS political position. It's not an act. He knows better. No, because he knows better. He knows what he could do because they've done it before. He's just choosing not to because he doesn't care. It's all politics.
Jayne, again, he's a governor. He's a governor. He's not a national. He's not the president.
They're in the
He's
same circles.
the Senate.
He could call a meeting, get all of the states, federal legislators together, and say, "Look, this is a concern that I have. Let's work on finding a solution so that we can make sure that these other voices have available platforms, because this is a problem that these two, well, in fact, Google principally could shut down all of these voices, all of these other platforms."
Technically, Google should already be subject to antitrust laws that they should actually be. They should be investigated right now for their practices. But that
I just want to say real quick, Culture. I love YouTube. We love you. Go ahead.
The hair lives on.
What? No, speak your truth, Culture, because I do want to hear it. I was just playing, but please, I want to hear what you have to say, because I probably agree with you.
Well, no, it's just the problem is that, okay, so let's say Governor DeSantis gets together with all of these people, Jayne. He has only limited power. His power is inside of his state. Mm-hmm. Okay. And he certainly can. Yes, he does run with other people who are like-minded for sure. But at best, there are 28 states that could align with his position right now. So that's not going to get you anywhere, but those states could certainly implement something. What would you have them do? Because you're not talking a federal level. You can't.
No, I am because I think that he can coordinate with federal officials. It's not.
Well, you know what? They already tried. They already tried that though, because Ted Cruz tried to do it at the federal level when he brought antitrust against Google. And unfortunately, because he didn't get the backing from all the other senators and congressmen, that's why it wound up falling flat on its face. He tried to do it.
We don't have the political will, Jayne. So again, back up, move this back to the states, because this is where this man works. Okay. What would you have a governor do in those that would be different than a daily fine for somebody?
Because the fine isn't going to do anything.
Okay. So what would you have him do?
I would have him continue to try to work with the federal government to create a solution that works, because there's nothing he can do in his state that's going to affect this company.
They absolutely can't. Australia is in a position right now where Google is going to pull out if they don't kowtow to their will.
That's an entire country.
Right. Yeah, and I just hope Australia holds.
That's an entire continent.
Right,
continent. Yeah.
Jesus, let me fucking finish. Good Christ.
Yes, sir. Go for it.
Jesus.
Sorry.
Fuck. Look. The state has to be able to. I'm sorry, I can only take being interrupted so many times. I'm polite. I'm nice to everybody. I get run over. What I would like is I would like somebody to talk about what a state can do, because Jayne, it doesn't work at a federal level. Sure, he can talk till he's blue in the face with other people that are like-minded, but there's no political will in Washington right now to do this. There hasn't been for a while. I mean, they've bounced their head against this idea for a long time, and repealing 230 would be fine, except that there is no competing platforms. So how do you, so going about in your state, let's say, whatever state you reside in, what would your governor have to do to create that circumstance? See, that's because you have to operate
because of interstate commerce. I don't think there's anything he's going to be able to do.
Okay. Well, then I guess
not by himself.
You know what? Then he got a fine in place. It's a good political move for him, and you can be dissatisfied with it, because there isn't anything for him to do from his position that will do anything, because there's no political will for it. You can have 28 states that say we want to do this, and the other states are going to be like, yeah, we're not interested. We're blue.
Well, the thing is too, these are politicians. They need to go politic. If you can't do it, if you can't negotiate, if you can't make deals, if you can't bargain, then maybe you're in the wrong office.
Well, he seems to be
simply complaining isn't going to get you anywhere. Coming up with solutions that don't work isn't going to get you anywhere. All it's going to do is create more division.
Well, what do you do if you don't speak out? If you don't speak out, at least he said something that maybe a new person out there did not hear. A person in Florida never knew that this is happening. It's important for them to speak up, at least to let the American people know this is happening. Yes. I know that. I really think that's important.
That's not
you
what I'm
know?
saying. I never.
Oh
said
no, I
that
know
he
that.
should
I know
speak
that.
up. I'm just saying that he should talk about solutions that would work, even if he doesn't think he would be able to accomplish it. It makes more sense to me because people would hear it and say, you know what? It doesn't make any sense that this one company controls all these platforms. That's kind of bizarre. It could
Well, but
result
Jayne,
in our
but Jayne,
opinions being hurt.
But Jayne, what if something like this is the catalyst to get other states to start looking into it and say, hey, maybe there is something we could start doing at least at the state level, be until we can all come to a consensus. What if this is the one small thing that actually gets a fire under everybody's ass to start like doing something about it finally? This could be it's the smallest battles you win that can help you win the war. Maybe he's looking at it from that perspective. I mean, obviously, anything a politician is going to do, like you said before, is going to be political in nature, and that's never going to change because that's how politicians play the game. But this could be something that could lead to better laws, maybe better governorship over the internet and how it's being used.
I totally understand, Jayne, where you're coming from. You don't want to award this guy, a participation trophy for doing the bare minimum. You want an actual, so you want to step above what he's just trying to do. But let me just tell you though, I will say that I gotta agree with most of the panel and say, like, somebody's got to start somewhere. These kind of things don't happen overnight. These big movements, whether you think it's big right now or not, you got to start somewhere, and so that right. As long as he continues to find solutions, to talk to people, I'm sure he's just not just sitting in his office not saying anything to anyone. He wouldn't have said anything otherwise. But I don't know. I'm glad that, I guess I'm just kind of happy someone's doing something about it.
And I think
it's better than being quiet and silent and letting all this continue to happen.
But
Like,
aren't we always happy when politicians just say something? Shouldn't we demand more?
No, we should, Jayne. I completely agree. The problem is that no one has been, other than Ted Cruz, really a lot of people have been, keep not talking about this because either one side, one political party, it benefits them completely, so they're happy with it. And the other ones are just, it almost seems like they're too scared to bring it up. It's good to hear another official, that's how the ball starts rolling. Okay, this guy says this. Hopefully somebody else jumps on that bandwagon. And, someone said it in the chat, sexual Shane. And I don't know if this is true, so don't quote me. Shane Mullen said fines is how everything is done. Originally, sex harassment law was based on fines that led to legislation. So you have to start somewhere, and I'm just glad somebody's speaking out, because we cannot allow a corporation to control the narrative when it comes to the political discord in this country. That's what we are based on, the freedom to disagree and debate each other. And I don't think that should be controlled. If you're preaching to harm somebody or something like that, yes, you should be silenced. But if you're just talking about your political views, and, I completely disagree if you're white supremacist or, black, whatever. I don't know what's the opposite of that. But no matter what, whoever's making a paper mache thing, please stop. You should have the right to say what you want to say. That's the American right of free speech, and these companies need to respect that.
One way of doing it might be, you remember when there was a little bit of an outcry when some liberals got kicked off whatever platforms? That would have been an opportunity for conservative, hard right politicians to come out and defend their right to be on there.
Right.
I think that would have opened the door for some goodwill that they could have used, that they could have marketed to get legislation through. I think conversation.
You would like that, but each party is just going to do what's to their benefit. Democrats haven't done that with Republicans a lot. and Republicans will do the same thing back.
I mean, think about
they're too busy fighting with each other. They just want what's best for them. They don't care if the other party gets screwed. They like that.
We've seen it happen though, like with the legislation, the criminal justice reform bill and things like that. We've seen waving across the country. Part of what is driving that is that you begin to see people on the left start pointing out communities that are typically on the right being affected by these drug laws and how destructive they are to those communities. And those communities heard that. And they began to complain to their politicians about what was going on. And you begin to see those politicians come around. So sometimes reaching out to the other side isn't so much about convincing the politicians of what you want, but it's convincing the people, the regular everyday people,
right,
that your point of view may be right. And then they get in contact with their officials on the other side. And of course, those people just want to be reelected. So then they come together and you get, something that essentially turns the corner on the crime bill,
Mm-hmm. Well, and one thing that I would like to point out, something you said earlier, was that, we should, when somebody does something that's, that like what this governor's doing, speaking out a little bit, or at least starting conversation. And then, you're saying like, oh, that isn't enough. And then, you're talking about, well, I don't know if you exactly said it, but it seemed like you were still like frustrated, like this is not enough. I just think the verbiage could be a lot more productive if you said something like, or like, not just say like, no, that's not enough. Because it sounds like, oh, well, you know what? I'm trying to start something and people are getting mad at me no matter what. So it's like, why should I even bother down this path? Like, people are just,
we got to start somewhere.
Yeah, well, and it's just like, yes. And I think, this is the first step. The next step, hey, maybe do this, like, hey, like encourage them to say, you're going in the right direction, and just try to continue to, I guess, and this goes for everyone. If kind of like what, when we like things in The Mandalorian, we'll praise it, and we boo when we think it sucks, like the beginning of the second season. But you have to, you can't just, keep complaining about, if you keep complaining about everything that they don't do, they won't eventually do it. You got to push them in the right direction.
I would agree with you. I think the politicians are praised constantly. We let them get away with so much.
Well,
and
I think
they need to hear that. They need to be challenged.
I don't know. Mm-hmm. Tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I really do believe a lot of the things that are going on, especially with, like the platforms like YouTube and Twitter and all these places, they're silencing people, and they're actually, in a way, I think, and I don't think a lot of people talk about how they're actually violating the First Amendment.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Yeah, I agree.
Because, when you look at the free speech part, okay, you could say the free speech part and you could say no. But if you look at what a lot of people do on YouTube, is we actually kind of operate on the same level as somebody that would work in the press. Because how many people in the press actually they don't just talk about the news. They talk about like everyday things. They talk about Punxsutawney Phil seeing his damn shadow. That is not really news. That is more like a fluff article. That is just something to get people interested. How many articles are like that in like everyday newspapers and on TV, on these different mainstream media news and all these other ones? Don't we operate in the same kind of perspective as the press in that matter?
The only problem is that law literally only applies to government entities.
No, it does not. It does not. Have you ever read it?
It does.
And it does not.
To government. It restricts what government can control, not a private entity.
Oh, so I don't know enough about it to agree or disagree, but can I really quickly say Mr. Tickle Trunk for $2 with is that a fox? I think it's a fox. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I'm really enjoying this, but I gotta start wrapping it up.
This name is Mr. Tickle Trunk.
What a great name, right? This has been a great. I mean, when you get to the point where even Culture Casino is MFing us all, you had a discussion. So I'm sorry, buddy, if anybody stopped, if I did it, because I talk over everybody. That's my bad.
Man,
but
look, I had not said a whole lot the entire stream, and
I know. I know. I tried to get you involved, and The problem is,
I'm not going to interrupt an amazing conversation. That's not the way I'm wired. Everybody was cooking, man. I just wanted to ask Jayne where we should, if we don't start somewhere, where do we start? So that's all.
I agree with that.
No.
And I agree with that, my brother. I really do. Like, yes, this is a political move. Yes. Is he doing enough? Maybe not, but to get it out there where people can actually see somebody talking about this, that could change somebody's mind that, that's what I'm trying to say. Like these companies control the narrative so much, they might not have heard that side of it because it's not allowed to get out there. So it's good that people start speaking up and speaking out. That's what we did when it came to TV and movies where we saw something going wrong. We all decided we needed to speak out about this and think if they tried to control us. Look at somebody like Steven Crowder. They knocked him off. He couldn't get paid for anything after the Voxgate stuff. He had a really hard time getting back from YouTube paying him for the content and the millions of views. And now he's in a lawsuit against Facebook for what they did to him during the election. So keep an eye on that. We might be talking about that in the future. Steven Crowder, that might be a huge lawsuit that might change what we've been talking about tonight. I'd like to thank my panelists and our guests tonight. We'll do our little outros. Let's start with the great Justin Proper. Thank you, buddy, for coming on. You are welcome back anytime.
Oh, thank you. My name is Justin Proper. I host a show, a weekly live stream called This Week in Bullshit. It is going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. E-Top is going to be there. Culture Casino is going to be there. Lorraine is going to be there. And we're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of funny articles to go through. At the very beginning, we always start out with the news of the stupid, just to lighten the mood, and then we get into a couple of serious topics. Like it might get political this week, so well, we may as well start out with a laugh. So, by the way, you have a super chat.
I was hoping you could read it.
I blame Justin Proper for what?
You blame me
for everything.
What did I do? Like what for? Culture?
I don't know.
Being interrupted because I didn't say anything for that last.
I don't know, but Jayne Theory for $20. What are you doing?
Ooh. I'm just making a point.
Oh God! Well, I'll take that point.
Where's the rest of it, Jayne?
Oh, that's another $20. Yeah, that's another $20.
$20 there.
What about the other $20? Give the rest.
Well, Tommy, read this part. Read the super chat.
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. And then it continues, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
Exactly. Congress.
Of the people, Jayne. The press. Congress is not the press.
For you, the people.
The law applies
I got that stuck on you, Justin. Sorry.
And the laws they create. That's what that's about.
That's about Congress not restricting that.
Well, all I could say is that's the best $20 the First Amendment ever helped me out with. So thank you, Jayne. Raging Rhino in the house, guys. I don't know, Makini, if you have
Raging. I'm putting it in the chat right now.
Thank you.
In the chat right now.
Raging Rhino is, I consider a friend of the channel. He is what you see is what you get with Raging. I wish we could stream more. Damn other side of the earth. But please, a lot of people are going through some tough times. If you can't donate and help Raging out, please share the link. Maybe somebody
He's at Makini 90. He's already got it in the chat.
He's near 2,700, and his goal is 8K before April, if I'm correct.
Yeah, remember everybody. Even if you can only give a little, or at the very least, you can share that link out. It's going to help a lot.
Yeah, I was able to do a small amount last Friday, and it just feels good to pay it forward, help other people out. I've been one of the lucky ones. My day job has been nonstop. There's no such thing as the coof at my job. So please, guys, help him out. He's a great dude. Mr. Tickle Trunk again for $2. I blame toxic man flu. blaming Justin proper.
Thank
I
you.
agree. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
You have been egregious tonight, Justin.
I've been so improper, so naughty tonight. So
I know. I feel like you've been very,
Improper.
I feel like you've been very tame. Toxic Man Flu, though, for another $2, I blame Justin blaming Mr. Tickle Trunk blaming me.
I didn't blame anybody. Toxic Man Flu, you screwed that up. I never pointed fingers.
How is Scott to blame?
I don't. I like the money though, guys. So keep blaming each other. You guys are great people.
Culture Casino, were you going to say something? All right.
How about we do Jayne's outro? Jayne, where can they find you?
So you can find me here on YouTube, where I post movie and television reviews and pop culture commentary. You can also find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram.
Thank you, Jayne. And next up, the artist of the fourth wave, Machini90.
Good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone. We thank you for stopping by on this episode of The Dump, where no one is to blame. Anyway, you can find me on my YouTube channel where I do weekly draw streams, time lapses, and game streams. Speaking of which, tomorrow I have a warm-up video that I will be putting up there. I hope you guys will check it out. And then I have my game stream, which will be starting right after the Gaming Lounge on Thursday.
Ooh.
See the plug there, culture. And then on Friday, I will be joined with Mads Mama Bear again, as we're gonna do one more stream to work on the Cara Dune illustration. So I hope to see you guys there. And again, congratulations to Anna for just getting for getting Gina Carano to notice and retweet her illustration. It's such a beautiful one. And I hope you guys to come to my channel on Friday, as hopefully we can do the same. So thank you.
Rock on, brother. Thank you. And we have the king of the guinea pigs, Tommy, and the Guinea Pig Collective.
Weak, nibble. Oh, hey, what's going on, Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective here? Hey, you can find me over in my channel, Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective, where you see me nibbling off toes of people that I just don't like. There's a lot of them. My latest video was for Nina Infinity, or should I say Silent Infinity. No, we did a nice little song.
Team
for
Infinity.
Her. And she didn't seem to appreciate it as much, especially when I tried to infuse it with something else, which I'm not going to get into out of respect for her, because she was quite upset over that.
Well, now you have to tell us.
No, I can't. I promise not to. Yes, green room. But I'm going to be dropping some more videos on some of the other interesting things that I found over my father's house, because I'm still up there cleaning, and hopefully I will be getting done soon. And then I'm going to be having fun going through all those wonderful treasures and restarting my retro discussions, going old school. And that will be a lot of fun, going over all those old toys and other items of the past. Such good memories. Such
good times, man. That would be awesome. Thank you, Tommy.
But I just want to say, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or shouldn't watch, because your silence gives consent. And you get your damn toes nibbled off.
Tommy is not a dick.
Yes, I am.
Thank you, Tommy. And right before Culture Casino, the great Culture Casino, we have Toxic Man Flu for $5. The blame is squarely on Scott. He sent the link to Justin. Disgusting. Yeah, I'll take it.
He's just throwing blame at everybody. He's just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, but he can keep throwing it. I love Toxic Man Flu.
Yeah, Toxic Man Flu is never wrong. So
oh, sure, never.
Anyway, hi guys. I have a YouTube channel.
Stop interrupting
me all the time. They interrupt me, just like Scott just said. Hey,
I just was trying to tell people not to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Somebody hits the button and I go nuclear. And then we're all good. But anyway, I have Culture Casino. I have this channel. I have a live channel pretty soon. Less than 10 days from now, I'm going to have a news channel. That's right. I'll be doing daily news segments. Daily.
CCN.
Awesome. Yeah, just on entertainment. So that'll be a lot of fun. But next, you can find me. Actually, I'm going to leave here, and I'm going to magically appear over on Mary Mayhem's stream. I'm going to Mad Mardigan off of whatever pedestal he crawled up onto. That'll be a lot of fun.
Damn.
Other than that, I have a really great time with everybody around here. Check me out tomorrow on Justin's stream. This week in Bologna Sausage is tremendous. It's a lot of fun. I already said my curse words for the stream, guys, so I apologize. I'm looking forward to also doing Pegasus Actual after that, and of course Lit Gaming Lounge before that, and then I get to hang out with Comics Division guys. You have no idea.
I love them.
That stream is on Thursday, and Scott might be there if he has internet.
I try.
Anyway,
sorry, I just want to bring this up, guys. Gaming Lounge. Sorry, Culture. Just want to say that the Gaming Lounge, we're at 75 subscribers. We're just pushing towards that first 100. So if you guys can, please subscribe. We're a great gaming channel, so it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. I'm actually working on some content over there. I'm working on my PC review for Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm also working on a card game, an actual physical card game that I'm doing a review on as well. So we're going to cover everything gaming, not just the computer-y stuff, guys. So it'll be cool. Anyway, thanks for letting me hang out, Scott. As always, you guys rock it.
It's always an honor to have you, brother. It really is. It's not the same without you. So thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. That was a lot of fun stream and a lot of great views that came up. Before we go, though, I don't know if he's still in the chat, but my very good friend, Finaldeathstar, and his channel.
Subscribe to Final.
Yes, thank you. Subscribe to Final. That's what I was about to say.
Like him a little bit.
Enter the nether.
It did.
Enter the nether.
Well, it's Enter the Unfamiliar now.
Subscribe to J.J. Abrams.
Please,
yes, I didn't want to say it.
Well, it's his clone, or his evil doppelganger. I really need him to get to 1,000 because it's pretty pathetic that an original OG Rogue Entertainment guy is not at 1,000 yet, and I'm really sad for him. And I don't want him to feel bad about himself. So please, guys, go over there. He has an awesome channel. Check him out. Thank you to everybody. I got 2 more chats we are going to finish up, but I want to make sure everyone sees that Culture bounced. Toxic Man Flu for Toxic Man Flu for $5. Poke the bear again, Machini 90. Go ahead. It's Justin's fault anyway. Well,
you just wait. Am I to blame now?
Oh, and Thomas, I don't know, but Thomas Gilkey wants back on. Gilkey, I love you, man. I will DM you. We will get you back on. Thomas is one of my favorite people. He is always honest, very emotional at times, and I love him for it because he's always honest. But yeah, guys,
gets on my nerves.
And Final and Nina are in the chat. Final said thanks, and Nina said,
of course.
Hey, Nina.
Yeah, guys, Nina rocks, but Nina rocks. Final rocks.
Was she lurking the whole time?
She is lurking. And the great Mr. Tickle Trunks for another $5. Hey, CC, always say the name of your channels. Yamook. I love it.
Yamook. He left. He's not going to be able to hear you.
I know. That's messed up.
Hey, by the way, Mr. Tickle Trunk, can you please follow me on Twitter? That would be great. I want to be able to follow somebody whose name is Mr. Tickle Trunk.
Scott, if he's open, maybe for Saturday or next Wednesday, let's get Yeti Cast on the dump. Because he's saying in the chat right now, if you never need a guest, I'm going in hard.
Oh yeah, Yeti, DM me so I have a direct line with you. I would love to have you on. But we're gonna wrap this one up, guys. This was a longer one. Thank you, Justin. Once again, thank you to the other panelists. You guys rock. I'd like to make sure I thank Tina Bojan, Who Knew, Jack D, and Toxic Man Flu for my little finger level subscribers. I hope you guys all enjoy your new little badges that the Great Red Gaze made for us. Yeah, well, I tried. We tried. And just remember, everybody, be good to one another. And this is for the rest of my members. Peace out, everybody. Put a spork in it. We are done. I was going to tell Final Casino what a great job, but he left. He made this. subscribe to Finaldeathstar. Enter the unfamiliar.